Hey friends, welcome back. This week we are talking about kind of the mind-body connection and emotions. Is that how we want to describe it?
I think so. I think so. It's a little bit, I mean, it's the same thing, but it's a little bit, I don't know, different perspective on sort
Yeah.
of the mind body connection, right?
Okay.
Like we've talked about the mind body connection and how like our this, um, thoughts and feelings, right, create physical changes in our body.
Yeah.
Same mind body connection. But what I wanted to dive into a little bit differently today is how they're tied together. Maybe that's different than kind of connected, because what I have seen here recently with a lot of high achievers is that we have a tendency to like analyze things in our head,
Yeah.
right? Like we may be experiencing a situation, or you may be experiencing a symptom, or even uh think we have a diagnosis or like feelings, and it's like this rumination, like we get in our head and we analyze it, and we just like try to take it and look at it from like 15 different perspectives, but not ever like stepping back and like slowing down and figuring out that connection. Like, how is this connected to my body, right? Or like listening to their body, because they're constantly stuck in like, yeah, that analyzing headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, hmm. So in coaching, in the model, right? So the steer model. So the
Yeah.
S is situation, T is thought. Thoughts create emotion, which is the E line. Emotions drive our actions,
Yeah.
A line. And then our actions create the results in our life, the R line. A lot of times high achievers, and in this heady state you're talking about,
Yeah.
want to live in the A line.
Yes.
I just want to take a lot of actions.
I want
to action my
I'm gonna
way
do it. I'm
to
gonna
feel
do
differently.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why they're high achievers, is
Yeah.
they take lots of actions, right?
Right.
And actions feel good to us because I'm making progress, I'm moving something,
Yeah.
right? Like I can be in control of this, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what I hear you saying is
Yeah.
like people that stay in their head and they're just trying to align themselves out of whatever situation they're in.
Right.
Is that kind of
It's exactly, I think. Yeah.
okay? So that I love high achievers because it's like, oh, you're trying to align yourself out of that. Like, let's go back in the model. What drives actions? Emotions. What creates emotions? Your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's where we got to go to. And we tend to bypass the E line a lot. We want to have a thought. We want to action our way out of this so I can feel a different emotion.
Yeah.
But we have to understand thoughts chemically create an emotion. Right. The neurotransmitters fire, right? The reason why is because the conversation we are having, people are listening to, is how we communicate with the brain. My arm doesn't understand English.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to send.
It doesn't understand English. My brain does.
Yes.
So my brain communicates to my body through emotions.
Right.
That is the language of the body. I'll give you an example. When I see, if I'm out in the wild prehistorically, right, and I see a lion prowling around, as humans, we are wired, the brain sees the threat and then immediately goes into this chemical cascade to communicate with my body as fast and as efficiently as possible. So multiple systems can be communicated with at the same time. If that wasn't the case, if everything had to come through my brain, and my brain then had to communicate every single piece of information to my body,
it all out.
Right? It's like, raise your heart rate now, Kim. Okay, blood pressure change. All right, now we need to like vasoconstriction, vasodilation. I would be eaten.
Yeah.
Right?
You wouldn't make it very far.
But because my brain is wired to chemically create chemicals travel faster, to trigger all these systems, so my body then can react in a very fast time space, right? So I have to go into that to set this up for you guys. You have a thought, you've chemically already created the emotion that already exists in the body.
Right.
To skip it and go to the A line, you still have the emotion in the body.
Yes.
So why is this important? Why did I go in that whole dialogue? Because we have something called the nervous system. Yeah. Right? And the nervous system is connected, the vagus nerve, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. So we have the spinal cord, the brain's connected to the spinal cord. We have the vagus nerve that travels along that, and then it branches out and connects with all these organs and all these different pieces of body.
Yes.
Is my anatomy correct?
Yes, broadly, yes.
Yes, broadly. Yeah. So my brain is connecting to my nervous system.
Yeah.
Sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Okay. Parasympathetic nervous system, relax, refresh, digest.
Yeah, regeneration.
Yes. Okay. That is also how the chemical messengers and stuff are communicated and how the body's communicated with, is my central nervous system.
Yeah.
So when I have a thought that creates an emotion, if it is a negative emotion, right? Or sometimes it bypass, I want to go there. The T line and like trauma will just hit the emotional state. My nervous system has been triggered. Right. Okay. Yeah. So the fastest way for us then to move to a different model, different way of thinking, right, is to go to the body first. Right. To hijack the nervous system so we can hijack the brain. Right. Because if the body doesn't feel safe, the brain cannot override that and like change to a happy model where we're fine. Right. The body's already been triggered, like this is a threat, we're not safe. We're already running down that rabbit trail. Right. So the way to back up, pull us out of the body, out of the rabbit trail, is to go to the body first. And we call this in my world somatic therapy. Yeah. Okay. We go to the body and we let the body know that it is safe through breathing that is inhales are shorter than the exhales. Right? So the exhales are longer. Tapping on the body. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, moving away from chest breathing. Those are just a few examples of how we can calm the body down, because I wouldn't be breathing diaphragmatically if I was running from a lion. Right. Those two don't go together. No, if I was tapping, if I was running from a lion, I'm not tapping on my arm, right? Yeah. Like, so then that body sees like, oh, we must be safe. These things are happening. We must be safe. I'm willing to redirect the blood flow into my brain to the prefrontal cortex, so then we can start having different thoughts. Right. Did I explain that very well? I think you explained it really well. So the way this shows up clinically for folks, oftentimes, that's what I see now, especially in women, the high achievers, is that they have been monitoring their blood pressure, right? Yeah. And some days their blood pressure is perfect, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, their blood pressure is like sky high, and they're freaking out, right? They're panicking, and then the next day their blood pressure will be fine again. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, let's look at the root cause, right? Let's evaluate this. Well, they get wrapped in this A line, like, what can I do? What do I need to do to address this? It's like, okay, well, you can do all the things. You can do the celery juice. You can do the hibiscus. You can do the beetroots. You can do hawthorn. Vitamin E. You can do all the things. But that's not. It will help temporarily, right? But if you don't address that root cause, right? If you don't address that anxiety, right, or that like
stressful thoughts or that like emotional roller coaster that people don't want to address, you're not gonna address the high blood pressure, right? So there's this disconnect of like, oh no, this my my problem is not my thoughts. My problem is my heart, my blood pressure
Right.
is yeah. But I want to do all the things to address the blood pressure, but I don't want to feel the emotion that's
Right.
creating the high blood pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and just working through that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You won't alien yourself out of it.
That's exactly what they're
Right.
trying to
Because
do.
again, the A line is created by the E line and the E line is created by the D line.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I think it's easier when you start feeling your body. Like I've done it enough now. Like I can feel like the tension in my body and I'm like, oh, I'm stressed.
Right.
This is not just tension in my body. This is not just an elevated heart rate.
Yeah, these are physical cues. Your body's trying to send you messages.
I'm triggering my body into this sympathetic state based on my perspective, my thoughts.
Yes.
That's what's going on. My body just doesn't do this.
Right.
Right? This is my brain is telling my body to do this.
The thoughts lead the train.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah. So having people to like teaching them how to process emotion, right? How to feel it in your body, how to move through it. It's a chemical reaction that's already been created. If we can just sit with it, it'll dissipate.
Right.
Right. And then learning how to calm the central nervous system, but also working on the mindset that's causing the central nervous system. And a lot of people think it's not my mindset, it's my boss. And my boss will change, I can have a different mindset. And it's like, oh, how's that worked out for us as humans? Waiting on other humans to change.
Right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So maybe we work on your thoughts, right? And your perspective and how you filter the world, because that's what's gonna impact your life the most from an emotional and physical perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What I got.
Excellent. Now I think that underlines exactly what we're trying to convey today. When we say that mind body connection, but it's really that connectedness, right? Of the and again, it's still through the steer model, but recognizing that it's the emotions that are going to drive that A line, that you can't just research and do all the things to try and get you out of that situation, that your physical body is reactive to those thoughts and emotions that started the cycle.
For sure.
Perfect.
Cool. All right, you guys. If you're interested in this, you want to learn how to process emotion, you need support in that and support in your nervous system. You want to learn how to manage your mind and your mindset so you can have optimal health and an optimal life, right? Above average life. When you start managing your mind, doors open, and you get to start living the way you want to instead of feeling stuck living the same day over and over. We would like to invite you into our New Beginnings program. If you're interested, there's a free consult call. We talk about it in the call of where are you at, where do you want to be, why aren't we there? We make a plan customized to you. And take off then.
Yeah.
All right.
Build from there.
Have a great night, guys.